pate, doesn't it normally take days?
Days. Specialty equipment, lots of specialty cuts of meat that your butcher's going to look like you're crazy for asking for. It's typically a really difficult dish to make, and I want to kind of demystify it. The first thing we're going to do is take our cognac. Now, I've already done this, but I just took a little bit of cognac over the stove and just boiled it for about 2 or 3 minutes and reduced it down. Now, the main ingredient, our cheat, is our ground pork.
Now, pate is normally generally made with liver.
With pate, there's 2 things that are really important: temperature and aggressive seasoning.
Okay.
So as long as we're aggressive with our seasoning, we're going to mask the flavor that we're losing from the liver.
Okay.
So we've got our ground pork, we've got some chopped bacon. This is really important too because it's got a lot of fats. We're getting more fat suspended in the meat. We've got a little bit of ground black pepper, some kosher salt, got some allspice, dried thyme, a little garlic. We've got some onions that I already sauteed a little butter.
Okay.
Again, put them in the fridge and cooled them off. We've got our cognac. We want a couple little eggs. I always recommend cracking your eggs in a separate bowl just to make sure you don't have a bad one. So if you do that for me real quick. And then when you're done with that, if you could just whisk them together a little bit, and then we're just going to dump in some chilled heavy cream. The last thing I'm going to add today is some pistachios. This is what in the biz they call the interior garnish.
Okay.
Be creative with this. Absolutely. This is where you get to have fun.
And you're using pistachios, but you're saying that you can use pretty much anything?
One of my favorites is the mixture of pecans and dried cranberries. I really like that in the fall. If you want a really rustic pate, you can actually use chunks of ham. Now, I would encourage you to use a wooden spoon when mixing this. This is not a stirring action, this is a mushing action. Essentially what we're making here is a meatloaf. This is a really fancy, decadent meatloaf. And how do you mix meatloaf?
With your hands.
With your hands.
Yes.
It's baked and it's chilled and it's cold meatloaf.
Meatloaf is delicious.
Yes. And actually I have for dinner parties served a meatloaf that was a cooked pate served warm. And people were just like, this is the best meatloaf I've ever had.
So you've mixed the pate mixture, and obviously we're ready to put it into the mold, but you have another trick for making sure that it's going to taste the way that you want when you get the finished product.
It's really difficult with things like this because it's raw and you can't just put it in your mouth and see if you've got enough salt and pepper.
You don't like raw pork?
I don't generally eat raw pork. So what we're going to do is called the quenelle test. This is another one of those biz tricks. So we're just going to take a spoonful of the meat, put it in a little bit of saran wrap, and we're going to drop it in a pot of simmering water. Let it cook for about 2 minutes, then we're going to taste it and see if we like the seasoning.
Perfect.
So we've tasted the quenelle. We're happy with the flavor, so we're going to go ahead and line our pan.
Okay. Now there is a trick to this.
There's a trick to this. You've got to layer the bacon one on top of the next so that you don't get any gaps in between the bacon. And that's going to get you a real nice tight seal. So we are going to line a couple pieces off the edge. And then once we put the pate in, we'll fold those up over the top so it's completely surrounded by the bacon. We have got our pan lined with the bacon. Now we are just going to take our pate mixture and put it into the pan. You want to do it piece by piece so that you can press down each layer. Everything's spread out evenly, pushed in. Now we're going to actually case the bacon around it. Now we bake it in a roasting pan filled about halfway to 3/4 way up with water, and that surrounds the pan in water so it more evenly cooks and you're not going to get any browning around the surfaces because you don't want to crisp your bacon, you want a nice smooth finish. We're going to take it here, stick it in our oven that we've got preheated to 350 degrees, come back in about 2.5 hours, and check on our doneness.
So the pate is fully cooked. And so now, but we're not finished. You can't serve it at this point.
If you serve it at this point, you really are serving meatloaf.
Okay.
So we need to take it out of our hot water, and we're going to let this chill overnight. Now while this chills, it's really important to weight it.
Okay.
And what we want to do is just find something around your kitchen that's heavy. Whether it's a pan, whether it's canned goods, just something that's got some heaviness to it, place it on top.
And for people that might be a little bit nervous about fat, when they see the finished product, a lot of the fat actually ends up being
cooked out of it. So we're going to go ahead and cut off the end. This is my husband's favorite part because he gets the end.
So he likes all the bacon.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Side there, and here's your piece.
And again, get one?
You get one. All right. So there you go, and you can see in here the different pieces. You've got your bacon fat through here. You've got a little pistachio there.
Gorgeous.
And then, of course, pate should always be served with just a little bit of crunchy bread.
Perfect.
And you've got a great little snack, little party appetizer. Put some greens with it, and you've got dinner.